All right, so I looked already for holes. I'm going to check again now that I've done this again. Want this nice and low. Because what if you had like 20 of these crawling on the screen at the same time on top of your player character, on top of maybe like some larger character, non-player characters. All right, so that's looking good. Let's go ahead and contend with the eyes. And let's see what I have in here now. So I'm going to mask out. How did you switch to the high density? I think I missed something. What do you mean? Switch to the high density? When it was purple? I just hit Control Z. I just Control Z back. So I've been Z-remeshing and then hit Control Z to go back before the Z-remesh and then Z-remeshing again. I'm going to mask out this area and I'm going to deal with it one eye at a time. Hit Control W to polygroup those faces. I'll turn on transparency so you can see it a little bit better. Then Control Shift and tap on that polygroup just so we see that polygroup. And let's make sure we got both sides. Just so this serves my paranoia. Turn on double-sided display so we can see both sides. And now let's look at this. So I'm going to hit Control Shift X to grow my selection. And what I'm looking for is, let's turn off transparency for right now so we can see where the eyes are sitting. What I'm looking for is a clean region where I can create a border edge. So I want to remove this, Control Shift and Alt, and then let's go Control Shift and select lasso, Control Shift, let's tap on that edge, Control Shift, oops, didn't want to do it for me. There we go. And I think this is going to work. So now let's go back to another curve brush, the topology brush, BTO, and I'm going to go ahead and create a circle here. And let's go ahead and create another one across here. I'm just going to create one row for right now. And then let's hit, just hide the eyeballs because we're going to have to work underneath them. There we go. And the way the topology brush works is that as you create quadrants with the curves, so if I come across here, hopefully that's not a double, oh, it's a single. And then come across here, you'll see that fill in with orange. That means when I remesh, I'm going to get a face formed there. But let me step back. What I want to do is I want to start from each individual point around here. So let's go there. Let's go there. Let's go there. Let's go here. Here, 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 here. And I'm not stressing at all about how the faces are forming just yet. I'll deal with that when it's all done, see if I have to do any cleanup. There, there, there. It's going to look like a mess to start with, but I'll get you guys there. Alright, so it's starting to get a little, I think I got two more edges in here to deal with. Alright, now I'm going to hold down Alt, and I'm going to get rid of these guys on the interior. That looks good. Let's get rid of these two guys, and then let's start filling in the interior. So from here to here, there, there to there, and then let's come across here. Are you guys digging this, or am I boring you to death? And then let's see. Let's find a nice little solution for this in here. The interior isn't... Okay, cool. All right, let's come down here, quad that out. I'm not really concerned about this being really pretty on the interior. I just want this quadded. So we have this extra right there. Let's clear that. Let's clear that. And this is where the topology brush can be a little messy. There we go. Got that quadded. And then I have this guy to contend with. So let's get rid of that, and then let's get rid of this extra one. So I'm holding down Alt and getting rid of that. No, boring. I'm just wondering why you're creating new geo there. You're going to replace it on the original mesh eye cavity. Yeah, check it out. The ends will justify the means. And I'll only do the one eye, so I'm not going to go back through and do the other one. Oh, come on. Really? This is the major problem I have with the topology brush, by the way. All right, you know what? Let's do this first, and then I'll contend with you. Oh, it actually quadded out for me there, but it gave me a mess in the center, which it shouldn't be. This is my first time doing this in 4R7. I was messing around with this in 4R6 yesterday, and it's just fine and dandy. But it looks like I lost a lot of quads here in the center. Let's go back. All right. So, anyways, once you're done forming your geometry here, you're going to next, I'm going to bring my draw size down to 1, and I'm just going to tap on that. It's dropping a little curve. I'm going to tap on it. Let's just tap, tap, tap it. Let's use the mouse. Even when you do little slight drags with the stylus, with the curves, it might drop a curve. So let's go ahead and click here. And now I have circular topology all the way around, right? And it's replaced it on that mesh. And that's called local retopology with the topology brush. You can also do local retopology with ZRemesher, right? But this way, at least I have a good start where I can shrink this eye cavity inside of Maya. I can push it in and I already have a flow here that is ordered for creating motion in the eye. I just insert edge loops. And in fact, I keep on forgetting what version I'm in. How did you replace it automatically? It does it on its own. So when you have, let's go back. When you have a selection like this, right, I have part of the mesh hidden, and I'm using the topology brush on this, the shown faces. When I go back and I tap on that, like I tap on one of those faces to generate mesh, since I did each one of these curves to match the edges, it automatically replaces it. So you need the selection and the rest hidden, yes. So I had edges matching edges so that it connected properly. So it wasn't like, you know, I wouldn't get weird triangles. I still got one right here, right? But whatever. Let's see. Let me go back. Why did it do that? Did I miss an edge? No, it's just being funky. But I can fix that. I can fix that inside of Maya. But we got to get into Maya. So I'm going to plug forward and expedite this process because we still have to paint. I might have to save the Maya blend shapes for you. Yeah, this helps out a lot. I've used this quite a bit. So now that I have that, I'm not going to do this one. And now that I have a mesh that I'm relatively happy with, I'm going to go ahead and unfreeze my subdivision levels finally. And I'm going to project my detail back onto this. So I hope that was some good stuff for all of you. Do you guys have any questions about that or following that? All right, cool. So let's take a look at how it projected back up. I probably have a little misprojection in this area. No problem. Let's see where that geometry landed. So it landed pretty much in the right space where I wanted it to. My projection was off because I smoothed down so much in this area, right? Smoothing down that far in that area. Now this goes back to projection distance, right? I need a larger projection distance to actually capture that. But honestly, with like little things like that, I just go in and I fill it in. It's not worth the hassle of going through and waiting for retopology, especially if you're like projecting a lot of polys. I'm gonna smooth down this area right here. Let's look at the topology. And I'm just going to dig in to this area, and I'm going to reshape the edge of my eyelid to respect the flow of the geometry. All right, so I'm going to knock that in all the way up to that border edge. And by the way, if you want to do your edge looping for the eye, like the edge loops we want in here, you can do this now inside of ZBrush now that we have 4R7 with just the insert edge loop and the Z modeler brush. And I can show you guys a little bit more later on, but I want to move forward. So we got our high resolution back. Let's turn back on our eyeball here, and I'm going to step down. And that ridge where that purple area is, and actually I'm going to go ahead and turn on my brush auto masking, mask by polygroups. That edge, so I'm just working with the purple polygroup, is going to be the edge of my eyelid. And the reason why I have the mask by polygroup on is so that I'm only manipulating one polygroup at a time and it's not moving all this extra mesh around. Yeah, I'd say one of my strengths inside of ZBrush, and one thing that I'd say, like, as far as just technically inside of ZBrush, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but let's go ahead and turn that off now. Is that I think I exercise pretty good mesh control. I think mesh control inside of ZBrush, learning to control the mesh and manipulate the mesh well and work with all the dynamic processes inside of ZBrush makes for a much better experience, and it sort of helps you circumvent a lot of issues that you might run into. So now that I have that roughly in the right area, let's do a quick resculpt. Clay buildup with the alpha off so I can get nice soft edges. Let's actually give him a lower eyelid. Let's throw that alpha back on. Even though this isn't very salamander-like, I like incorporating sort of like human elements in my stylization, because I feel it builds sympathy in the characters. It builds sympathy for the characters. All right. I ideally want this wrapping completely around the eye. I want the eyelid completely wrapping around. Got a little bit of wonkiness here. Let's go ahead and fix that. I want this edge to follow the ridge of the eyelid. All right, so without further noodling, let's go ahead and look at this eye, and I have a little bit of misprojection here. And I'm just going to sculpt that up. Let's subdivide up. Make sure none of my auto masking is on. Oh, it's fine. Just behaving a little oddly. It's probably because I don't have geometry that sort of respects the flow of the eyelid. Even when you're doing things sculpturally, ordered topology can be very important in just being able to easily get a form, right? If you have loose or unordered topology, sometimes it just doesn't hold up well when you sculpt over it. Like when you smooth it out, it doesn't relax in the way that you want it to relax. So it's always worth a shot to go into Z-Remesher and Z-Remesh your sculptural mesh, even if you never intend to rig it. Alright,